Hey everybody, it's Tony from from Appalachian Dual Sport, and I want to do a little off-topic video. I'm here at a piece of property that I bought in the mountains of Tennessee here, and just outside of Pikeville, Tennessee. Barely see the peekaboo view over there of the valley. We're on top of a mountain. Well, not quite the top, but near the top. And I've got like 12 acres here, and I rented this this Kubota, an SVL 75 with a blue diamond 6-foot brush hog to clear the land. And I wanted to show you what that looks like once a brush hog like that, you're using it to chop stuff down. Now, you can see over there in the distance, if I can zoom in via digital zoom, there was a lot of underbrush, just a ton of tiny little saplings and bushes and other little junk, a lot of fallen trees and things like that. But I've been out here. I worked, before I took a break, I worked for maybe 3 hours, and I cut a perimeter around the outside of the property. Like I said, it's 12 acres, so it's a good long ways around. So I cut this little trail around the outside of the property, and then I started brush hogging this spot over here where we hope to put in like a little tiny house type of deal, a little off-grid cabin. And this was all overgrown, so if you look over there, it's very much like what it looked like. And I think we're going to put the cabin right up here on this knoll, overlooking this our peekaboo view. I'll probably cut out some of these bigger trees so we can open that view up. But the brush hog, I watched a couple YouTube videos, and that brush hog makes real short work of things like this size, like a 1-inch tree. I'm trying to find an example of a much bigger tree. Now I was able to push over, no problem, a ton of dead trees, no matter what size. So like this one here, maybe an 8-inch, 6 to 8-inch tree, pushed it over. Even live trees that were decent size, like, boy, I can't find an example, because once they hit the ground, I started using the brush hog to chop them from one end to the other. But once it gets pretty thick, I stopped. I'll come out here with my chainsaw and finish cutting them up. But I was hoping I'd get a much better finish than this, because there's a lot of debris that's going to need to be cleaned up. I've got the bucket attachment, so I'm just going to come in here and start pushing some of this garbage out of the way. But as you can see, the brush hog it's pretty aggressive, but it's a pretty blunt instrument, and it leaves a lot of little stumps and bits of old trees sticking up out of the ground. Oh, hey, and I'm not complaining, really. I mean, it's a lot better than it was. I mean, at least I can walk around now without getting a sticker bush or some sapling smacking me in the face. So I'm happy with how it's been working, and it was cutting through this pretty quick. I'll go over the controls on the Kubota here in a bit once I get back inside the Kubota, but just give you an idea of kind of what it looks like from a complete beginner. And I have, obviously I don't know what I'm doing, because this is the first time I've ever run a brush hog on a Kubota like this, on this skid loader. But so here, for example, here was a tree that I just used the brute force of the Kubota to push it over, and then I started chopping the far end of it and stopped when I got to be about 3 inches thick. And so I'm going to come in here with my chainsaw and finish cutting it up. But it pushes these trees over no problem. Obviously something like that, there's no way in hell. I would guess it probably could push over, although I haven't tried it. Don't really want to ruin or mess up their equipment or abuse their equipment, but I bet it would push that tree over. Something like that. Something like this over here, no problem, push that over, right over. But and I'm going to come in with the bucket later, probably tomorrow, and push over a whole bunch more and start, like I said, start chopping some trees down, and start clearing a space for our little tiny home. But anyway, let's go take a look at the controls.